Welcome everybody to the Wake Up Call channel. I want to thank a subscriber over on the website who goes by the name of Team Jesus for sharing this with me. I would not know about this if it wasn't for that subscriber, and a lot of the stuff that I cover, if I see it from somebody else first, I always mention that in my videos to give credit to people who point this out to me, which is what's great about the website. For those of you, before I get into the video, who don't know about the website, you can go to uprisinglives.com. That's uprisinglives.com. And you could sign up there to receive email notifications so that you have an idea of how to get to the website, which I'm not allowed to talk about here. And also, it's a good thing to do to sign up at Uprising Lives and put your email in so that you know where I'm uploading. So you might come and go. You might like to listen to my content. Sometimes it's too much. I understand everybody's got a life. There's stuff, I don't really listen to much anymore, but I get it that people listen and then sometimes they take breaks. You have your own life to live and you can listen to whatever you want. But a lot of times what happens is people might take a break and come back and I might not be anywhere to be found. And they'll never find me again because they'll type in the name Wake Up Call Channel or another one that we know of and they'll never be able to find it because it's not allowed to be here anymore because it gets wiped off the face of the internet. So joining that mailing list is a good way to get email notifications from me in the event that we lose touch with each other down the line. We'll be able to find each other. You'll be able to find my channel. You'll be able to find the website. And of course, in the event things get really, really bad, you'll have and be a part of the email list where I will send out notifications depending on what happens in the future, as long as I'm here and I'm alive. So that's uprisinglives.com. Sign up now if you haven't yet. So the story that was shared over there, I have to play for you this news clip. It's incredible. A man is allegedly sacrificing cats for a demonic ritual in San Pedro, California. And of course, he's leaving sigils around with what looks like smeared blood or paint all around town. And everybody's talking about, who is this guy? What's he doing? And he's going after these cats. And of course, they're missing the obvious because the news will obviously deliberately miss the obvious. And when I show you this clip, keep in mind a few of the things here that I'll show you after the fact, but a woman, an elderly woman, talking about how this guy is pretending that he's a Knights Templar Christian, which is the ultimate irony. The ultimate irony, because the Knights Templar are not Christians. The Knights Templar secretly worshipped the Baphomet, which I'll get into after the video clip. But supposedly the guy is killing cats because they're demonic and satanic, and he's doing it for God. But clearly, for those of us with eyes to see and ears to hear, we know that this guy is sacrificing these cats in demonic rituals and even using cannibalism. He's even consuming the cats during his rituals, and then, of course, pretending that he's doing it for God, because that's all that people need to say nowadays, right? They could do these sacrifices and say that they're doing it for God, and all these people are like, oh, crazy Christian doing it. They still literally don't believe that these Satanists and these witches live among us. Look at this clip that aired on the local news in California.
This is a crazy and disturbing story, just as you said. And what's even more upsetting to these residents is that very little is being done to stop the madness.
There is a man who seems to delight in pretending he is a Knights of Templar, and in the name of the Lord, he exorcises demons by shooting cats.
San Pedro residents say they have a 70-year-old serial killer shooting cats with a crossbow. This is a photo of one of the cats who was injured, and you can see the crossbow bolt with cat fur, allegedly from a different dead cat. What does he have against cats?
He says they're demons, they're demons of the devil.
After he does his kills, he's been leaving this red cross.
On the Citizen app, residents have been posting the red crosses they have found in San Pedro. We found a couple that were blacked out.
Harley, come on, it's okay. It's okay.
Terry Hamill rescues feral cats. She says every day there are less cats to feed.
We had a major colony here and the cats began disappearing.
Some residents have confronted the man and they've gotten different responses.
What are you doing with the cats that you're killing? And he didn't skip a beat and he said, I eat them.
Then I asked him, are you killing cats? Because I had heard that he was. He goes, no, I'm not killing cats, although they are evil spirits.
People in the community have called the police, but they say they were told unless the man is caught in the act, there is nothing they can do about it.
I don't think that it's a good thing for someone to be going around shooting animals. They could go and change their mind and start shooting people too.
And that's exactly what Holly says happened to her.
He shot me because I feed the colonies over here.
She wasn't hit, but Holly says the arrow went right past her head.
As far as he's concerned, we're working with the devil because we're helping the cats.
The guy needs to be stopped, obviously. I would think it's against the law to hurt animals.
Holly called the police after she was shot at. Detectives filed a case, but Holly says the DA kicked it back, saying there wasn't enough evidence. They actually need to catch the guy on video. Now, one final note on this bizarre story. Allegedly, the man goes around performing exorcisms and tossing holy water on random people. Reporting from San Pedro, I'm Gina Silva. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
So, I mean, that's pretty incredible to me. You know, seeing that on the news and then actually hearing somebody talk about the Knights Templar and telling us, oh, you know, he's a member of the Knights Templar. He's claiming that he's a Christian. Well, the Knights Templar also did claim to be Christian. But everybody should know by now that the Knights Templar worship the Baphomet. This is fact. I know kids out there play Assassin's Creed, which is about the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar are still glorified. They're not glorified because they're Christians. The Knights Templar are actually who is and what is known as Friday the 13th. For those of you that haven't seen my videos in the past covering Friday the 13th, I'll sum it up for you real fast. Friday the 13th, this whole aura around it of why it's spooky and scary is because the Knights Templar, where let's just say the word for the algorithm, were taken out. They were taken out because it was found out that the Knights Templar were involved in black magic and satanic rituals. And they were worshiping the Baphomet. So in reality, Friday the 13th is only a scary day to the occult. It shouldn't be considered a scary day to anybody out there who is Christian or believes in Christ, because private justice was at play and people were taking out these Satanists, which is something that many people will say, hey, we need that again in today's world, you know? So let's look at real quickly a couple of things from that news clip. So this guy is doing these rituals, right? We're supposed to believe he's Christian because he claims to be Knights Templar, and then he goes around saying that they're demonic cats and dogs. So the reality is that this guy's committing satanic rituals. They're real. That's what happens. Of course, the news won't point that out. They'll just say that he's some crazy Christian guy who's saying cats are demonic, right? But we all know the truth. Now, you'll see the sigil marked all over in that video clip, right? The sigils are spray painted on statues, graffiti on walls. And again, this is not the cross that we normally see with the Knights Templar, but this is known as the Lorraine cross, which the Knights Templar did use. They used multiple crosses, but one of them was the Lorraine cross. There's also the patriarchal cross and the papal cross, which we see, of course, associated to this day still with the Vatican in some way, shape, or form. And we also know that the Anton LaVey's cross, which is called the Leviathan cross, is associated with Satanism and satanic rituals. You'll see it drawn a lot of times in the Satanic Bible and in a lot of the readings and teachings that have the alchemy symbols. Remember, they use these symbols of alchemy in their rituals that they perform. So we can see that that's also a double cross that has the infinity sign at the bottom. And this, again, this is not somebody who's just killing these animals for a random reason. It's very clear that he's using them in demonic satanic rituals, but when they make light of it on the news and then they say that he's doing it for God because cats are satanic and devilish, well, then the majority of people out there, what happens? They just start to hate Christians even more because they're saying, wow, these Christians, that reminds me of the stuff I heard about witches with cats. The Christians are bad and they hate cats. Huh? Yeah, that kind of mind control, believe it or not, actually works. Instead of educating the people out there and saying, well, he claims to be a Knights Templar, he's clearly a Satanist. Because guess what? The Knights Templar were executed for worshiping the Baphomet. They weren't real Christians. So he's not doing this for God. He's doing it as part of a blood ritual, right? And the other thing to note, which was very interesting, which I picked up on, some of you may have as well, but there was a man interviewed during that 2-minute news clip who was wearing a shirt. And what was on his shirt? Mr. Pickles. I remember because my very first strike that I ever received on this wonderful platform known as YouTube, even though I'm a brand new YouTuber, was on a video, which is available on the website, I believe, about Mr. Pickles. Mr. Pickles was a cartoon that they made. And of course, at the time, people were yelling at me saying, it's not for kids, it's for adults. It's on Adult Swim. Well, cartoons are designed for children. So even if you're 30 and 40 years old and you're trying to, rationalize why you're watching cartoons and saying that it's not for kids, it's for children. And cartoons really at the core were the beginning of MK Ultra released out on the public. They were used in cartoons, and a lot of the stuff that they used to groom children were these Mickey Mouse demonic variations of, Disney cartoon characters performing disgusting acts in the cartoons that they were showing young children. And that's how they were beginning to groom them very early on. Now, that's according to a lot of people who've come out of Satanism, who have been rescued out of Satanism, who have talked about that. And that is a variation or a form of mind control where they force them to watch those types of acts, but not with human flesh, with cartoons, so it's easier for them to be groomed. So very disgusting stuff that I cannot wait for God to take care of these people who do these things to children. I'm looking forward to the day that judgment comes to them. But Mr. Pickles, just FYI, the guy with the shirt, maybe want to investigate him too for wearing the shirt. Well, you're going to say judge a book by its cover. Well, I'll just make it clear to you. Mr. Pickles, the whole show is about a dog who commits satanic ritual sacrifice, okay? So if all these cats are getting sacrificed, and of course there's the one guy claiming to be a Knights Templar, well, maybe this guy's involved too, because he's supporting Mr. Pickles, and unless he found the shirt on a trash heap somewhere and he just is wearing it because he doesn't have money and can't buy new clothes, fine, we'll give him an excuse there. But I mean, look, if somebody out there is wearing a shirt that's got some type, like Jeffrey Dahmer on it, I mean, what, you're not going to question the guy? What if you were a family member of one of the victims? You're not going to question the guy wearing the shirt? I mean, come on. So that guy, coincidence, right? I'm sure. That guy's getting interviewed during this clip about these cats who are getting killed and sacrificed and eaten, and he's wearing a shirt about a show about a dog who ritually commits sacrifice. So go figure, right? That's the world that we live in now. So anyway, I want to thank the subscriber for sharing this over on the website. Wanted to share it with everybody. Anytime I hear these stories about rituals like this that are done out in the open, it's always funny to watch how the news plays the clip. It's sad to hear people like the woman saying, oh, it's horrible about the cats. Of course it's horrible about the cats. Everybody cares about the cats. But let's not associate the Knights Templar with Christianity. Somebody who's saying that he's doing it for God. Yeah, he's doing it for his God, the same God that all these politicians and all these celebrities worship. Their God, and if this is according to their teachings and what they follow, and Albert Pike and Aleister Crowley, their God is Lucifer, okay? Not God, our God of the Bible. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.